Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for On Purpose with Keith and Misti. If you know us, thank you for joining us. If you are new to us and you have no idea who we are, thank you for stopping by and giving us a chance.
We're glad to have you with us and excited about what this podcast is going to share. And so today, share this with someone that you know and sit back and relax and join us for what is to come.
So you may be asking, who are we? And what is the purpose of On Purpose? So let me just say it's not going to be one topic every week that's going to be the same every week. It's going to change from one week to the next. We will have guests on here
Periodically.
just to mix it up a little bit. It'll be us bantering back and forth. Our conversations are very interesting, and so we thought it'd be kind of funny, comical, for other people to be enlightened into some of those conversations because they're quite interesting. So what are some of the things that we will be talking about? So right now we're just going to give you a general introduction to us, to who we are, what we've come through. That is fascinating. And just kind of mix it up a little bit. So
there's a lot of things going on in the world. We'd like to talk about what's going on in the world. We know that at this time there's unrest and even war in the Middle East. In America, there is different situations in politics and life events going on that are most different from most what we would call a normal time. So we're living in a very different time than what has been the norm for people.
Yes, but it's not going to be a heavy conversation, and it's not going to be all politics. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about our life experience. We're going to go into that today, but we will kind of sprinkle those throughout the next few weeks, just insights into our lives, things that we've experienced. We're going to talk about some practical things, just day-to-day, ordinary things that such as health, things such as physical fitness, things that we do to take care of our bodies.
What we eat, where we go to eat, what we did today, what we did this afternoon. One day this week, we went out to the Country Music Hall of Fame and had a day just to ourselves, just sightseeing in Nashville. So, that may be a topic of some of our programs, and we share with you what we're doing, and maybe you'll interject some of the things that you're doing and some of the things you want to see us do.
And we are going to delve a little bit into some things in Scripture, and we'll go into in a second of why we are going to do that.
So the program is going to be very wide in variety. We hope that it's funny. We hope that it's practical, and we hope that you will just come into our room that we're in and join us, and that we'll come into the room that you're at, and we'll make time to inspire you. To make you think, to make you laugh, and to have a great time. We're going to go to a break right now, and we'll be right back with the rest of the program today. I was married for 28 wonderful years to a lady. We would find out that she was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer that had spread to the lungs and liver. 20 months and 2 days, Sandy would transition to heaven.
I have my own story.
Yeah.
Which is very different from yours. You were married for 28 years. I was only married for 10. I got a call from Scott's stepdad, my father-in-law, and he said, "Misti, where's Scott?" I said, "He's up flying." And he said, "Well, I just got a call that he's crashed." Our heart is to tell people, you don't have to stay victims of your circumstances, and it's not just death. It's any kind of trial you go through in life. If you're still here, you still have purpose. You still have an assignment. And that's my heart, because that's what brought me through, is pick yourself up and keep going. What is it you have to do? So again, thank you for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about who Misti and Keith are. So do you want to start?
I can. Keith Sammons, and I am Misti's husband. And for me, I'm just celebrating this week a birthday. Misty calls it a big birthday.
It is a big birthday.
It is a big birthday, but I don't feel as old as, maybe she makes me.
I do. I never say, I always tell you how young you look.
Well, last year, whenever we were approaching this birthday, to be real candid and to be real, Misty looked at me and she said, next year we're going to have to celebrate big because you have a big birthday coming up. We won't tell exactly what my age is, but it is a milestone birthday, and I'm excited about it. I feel good. I'm healthy, and all is well with me.
And I am Misti Sammons, his wife, and I am not as exuberant about those things as he would make it to be. Mm-hmm. He likes to embellish just a little bit. I just informed him that he had a big birthday coming up, and it was a good birthday. It's a nice birthday. We're still celebrating. We'll be celebrating with some friends this weekend. But this is our second marriage, and we both lost our first spouses. So Keith's first wife passed away 6.5 years ago from cancer, and my first husband was killed almost 13 years ago. It'll be 13 years in a couple of months, or actually next month.
And we got married when Scott had been gone 8 years. So.
Yes. And he was killed in a private plane crash. So I was single for 8.5 years. Keith was single for 2. And we met at church. And that's a funny story that maybe we'll go into later on.
Yeah, maybe we can go into that. I don't know if that's going to be another podcast.
That could be a whole podcast. It's kind of comical. But we ended up finally going out with each other, got engaged 2 months later, got married 2 months after that. When you're our age, you don't waste time wondering if it's the right person or not. It's like, is this the right person or is it not? Because if it's not, then I'm moving on.
Yeah,
At least that was mine.
God speaks to you and says you're the one, then, there's no use in waiting.
Yeah.
Let's plan a wedding.
No slant on those who do. That was just not our MO. Mm-hmm. So Keith, I'll let you tell your story about what you've done music-wise.
Well, I've been a music and youth pastor for 26 years during my time in ministry. And then after my time being a music and youth pastor, I spent almost 6 years traveling as executive director of an outreach to students across America in public and Christian high schools who were dealing with suicide. And so traveled all over the country and really all over the world, helping to spread the good news of hope and healing with young people who were contemplating suicide, who were dealing with cutting and issues that deal with self-esteem and things of that nature. So spent a better part of 6 years doing that, and that was a wonderful part of my ministry. And now for the last 3 years, Misty and I have been launching what you see today, the podcast, Keith and Misti Ministries, Beautiful Ashes. We also run the nonprofit, the Happy Shoes Project. And so there's several aspects of what we do in ministry.
And I actually was a business owner. My first husband and I started our own business back in 2002. And a year after he passed, I sold that and moved back to Tennessee, where I grew up, and finished my degree, my undergraduate, that I had never finished because I got married while I was in college. And then I went and got my master's in biblical studies. So I am a teacher of the word. I love to teach the Bible. So we know that our purpose of being married is not just to have a partner in life, but it's to tell people that there is hope, that you can have joy again. If you saw me this side or the other side of 12 years ago, I looked like a totally different person. Grief is a very real thing. And we are able to tell people that you can come out of that. You don't have to stay a victim of your circumstances, whether it be divorce, a job loss, any kind of trial that you've been through. Everyone's been through something. And you can always come out. This is what we say. There's always a way out. But you've got to make up your mind that you want to come out. That is half the battle.
That's half the battle. Grief is very real. We don't want people to understand that or think that we don't understand what grief is. We went through grief. We both went through heavy grief and through the grieving process. But we also, I think it's safe to say that we're both surrounded with great people around us, number one, who were people of faith, positive influences on us. There was also those naysayers and those people that had the crazy phrases they would say to you and things that people come and say, I know what you're going through. Well, maybe you really don't know what I'm going through. You may have been through the loss of someone, but I don't think anybody really knows what anybody individual is going through. We know a semblance about it.
You can identify.
And identify with them.
That's what I always say. You can
but
identify.
But we don't know exactly what you're going through.
No, because everyone's built differently.
But yeah, everybody's built differently, and everybody has a different way they grieve. But I think our purpose is, and what we feel mandated is, to let people know it's okay to come out of grief and live again.
That's the biggie.
Yeah.
Because people think it's an honorable thing to grieve forever, that it's somehow honoring the person who's passed, and that's just not the truth.
Right.
You're honoring them. Now, here's a weird thing about us, probably, is that we talk about our first spouses all the time. We tell stories about them. It's not a competition. And it's honoring that person. And this is what I said. Sandy's a part of you.
Yeah.
Scott's a part of me. So I love you now, but she helped make you the person you are now.
Right.
And so there's nothing to hide about that. Now, we will go into maybe a podcast one day of what it's like getting married the second time around. And at least for women, sometimes we deal with insecurities and comparisons. Maybe we'll talk about that. We might have a female guest on for that.
Yeah,
that would
we'll have
probably
some
be
guests
good
on
for
to
me
talk
to
about
banter
it.
back
And every
forth.
program's not going to talk about grief. But today, we wanted to let you know what we've been through and kind of the mantra of our ministry or outreach and what we feel like that our mandate is to help people understand that they can come out of the process of grieving.
So we do that, but we have a lot of fun. We like to laugh. We like to travel. There are a lot of ways that we're similar. There's a lot of ways that we're different. Meshing that later in life is interesting. But I think that we're kind of forging our own new path with one another.
Well, we try to do that. That's one of the
we
things
like
we
to
really
do
try to
things
do is
that we
try to
don't
do things
do-
that we haven't done before.
That we didn't do in our
that
first
we're
life.
doing new in our first marriage, things that we're forging that is a new territory for us in this marriage. There's things we'll look at each other and we'll say, have you done that before? Like restaurants that we go eat. We both are foodies. We like to eat. And so we'll say, hey, did you ever eat there with Sandy?
Yeah.
Did you ever do this with Scott? Did you ever go on this kind of a vacation? We just came back from a cruise and we wanted to do the cruise in a place we had never been before. That didn't work out because of Ivan that was coming up through. Not Ivan, but
Lee.
Lee that was coming up through the Gulf area. So
Yeah. So we're just a funny mix, I think. We have a lot of laughs. So let's give a little glimpse just to kind of round this out with some funny stuff. Let's give a little glimpse about each of us. So do you want to describe each other or do you want to describe yourself?
Well, I would say Misti is...
So you just dove into that.
Yeah, I'll dive right into it. I say Misti is, she is very organized, and she is organized from the time she gets up till the time she goes to bed. When she gets up in the morning and makes the bed, she lays her pajamas out for the next night. And you'll go in her room, and they're tucked under her pillow right beside her nightstand. So her pajamas are laid out. She knows exactly what she's going to do that day, and it's timed out so that if she's going to make a trip to the store, then anything else that needs to be done while she's in that vicinity to save miles on the car, she's going to make sure that all that gets done so she just has one trip in and out. She would do that once a week. So she's very planned, very organized, very methodical about what she does. And she loves her time with Jesus, and that is a very big part of her morning, every morning. Not that I don't, I just have a different way of spending time with Jesus than she does. She does hers methodically. She goes to the same spot. The same time, does the same thing, catches up on the last scripture that she read, she'll start right there and she'll go again. She is a line upon line, precept upon precept in her life and in her Bible study.
So Keith is a creative, being musically inclined, and if you've never heard him sing, you can YouTube him.
Well, you're too
He's
kind.
been on national TV and international TV singing. He sings amazing. God knew not to give me that gift because I would be high and lifted up at
Well, let me say, when she's bragging on me, let me go back and brag on her. Misty is a incredible Bible teacher. She knows the Word. She is a Greek scholar, for lack of better terms, for me. She knows Greek and she knows how to tear Greek apart and teach you what the Bible says by going into the Greek. So she is a phenomenal Bible teacher.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
But Keith is definitely, so while I'm the teacher, Keith is definitely more pastoral. He's very loving, very kind. I joke with him because he'll say, I need to go to a funeral that's like 10 hours away. And I'm thinking, who died in your family? And he'll say, it was my first grade teacher's son's cousin's brother, yada, yada,
Well,
yada.
not
And I said,
not that
how long ago have you seen them? I don't know, like 30, 40 years ago, but I need to go. That is the kind of person he is. He wants to be there for people. He is a fixer. He likes to fix situations. But being a creative, he's not as organized. So God knew what he was doing when he put us together. There's always a creative with a non-creative, usually. That was how my first husband was. He was a visionary, but he wasn't very organized. I was the one that kept all the records, did all the brunt work to make sure that we were compliant in our business. Mm-hmm. So I'm that person, but he is just a free spirit. Like, he loves to just go out and drive.
Yeah.
Just aimlessly drive.
So what's wrong with that?
And I'm saying, where is our destination? Like, what is the purpose of us going out? No reason, just to drive. That's how we are kind of different. He also, now he does love to shop.
No, I'm
which
not
we're
just
similar on
driving
that.
just to.
Oh, you're going back to that?
Yeah, I'm not just driving just to be driving the car down the road, although I have been known to do that. But I want to go see sights, go see a place that we haven't seen, or drive back by something, go get some ice cream, go find something to do. It's not just out driving aimlessly.
That's up for debate. So, but we do love food. We love desserts. Mm-hmm. We only limit those to once a week. And you enjoy them a lot more.
Misty
you
says
enjoy them a lot more.
Misty says that we get dessert once a week. But if we do a large dessert and split it, we can have it twice a week. That way we can, say that we had one dessert apiece. Now, that's my way of getting 2 desserts a week.
But we are mindful of our health. We eat at home 5 days a week. Mm-hmm. One night's always pizza night. Every Sunday night is pizza night.
Yeah.
Hands down. I think we've maybe had to change it, 3 times?
If we're on the road somewhere, really, if we're on the road, we try to find a pizza spot. But
that's our guilt-free night. And then one night is our date night. So we always try to find a new restaurant that has things that we can't cook at home or that we don't have time to cook at home. So that's kind of how we are. And we don't normally notice our age difference.
No, I don't think so.
So there are 16 years between us. And most of the time, I don't notice it until it comes to music and movies. So movies-wise, I love a comedy. Hands down, favorite movie is Dumb and Dumber. I love slapstick comedy. Those great movies from the mid-90s are my thing.
And I love action movies and movies that I do like comedy, but
it's got to have a sentimental part to it.
Some kind of a sentimental part, or it's got to have
somewhere.
It's got to have a way to a means. It's just not just slapstick comedy for me. But I love movies that tell stories. I don't remember a thing that happens in the movie when I get out an actor who it is.
No, and I speak in movie quotes.
And she speaks in fluent movie quotes.
It's so sad when I have such a great line from a movie and he just looks at me because he has no idea where it's from or that I'm even quoting a movie. It just kind of breaks my heart. That's where we are different. We also like different music.
So why don't you, if you're on there watching, if you're any of this is ringing a bell with you, why don't you send us some of the movies that you like to watch, and we may talk about them in another program. Why don't you tell us what kind of food you like or where you'd like to see us go? We do a date night with Keith and Misti. That's always, people love that, and it's always something that people enjoy us doing. And so we'll do a live Facebook date night from somewhere.
But it's got to be in the Nashville area.
So yeah, do it in the Nashville area. We're living in Nashville now. We spend time in Nashville. We spend time in Chattanooga. We have places in both areas that we stay and that we operate our nonprofit, the Happy Shoes Project in Chattanooga. So let us know what you would like to hear us talk about. Throw out some subjects, some of the events that are going on in the country, to theology and questions you may have about theology. Misti will be glad to break those down. I'll do my best to help her put it into a pastoral point of view. But let's hear from you. This is not just Misti and Keith talking here. We want to hear from you and what you want to hear from us.
So thank you all so much for joining us. You'll get more glimpses of us and our demeanors, our characters, how we interact with each other in the next few weeks on the podcasts that are coming up.
Yeah, we're going to end the program today with a small advertisement about a book that we have just come out with, and we want you to pick that up. It's called In the Midst, Living Life on Purpose, which that's what our mission is, to help you to live your life on purpose, because we're doing that, and we'd love to see people that are going through struggles have hope and healing in their life. So until next time, this is Keith.
And Misti.
Misti and I would like to share with you our brand new book, In the Midst, 30 Days to Living Life on Purpose.
This book is a compilation of devotionals that each of us have written for a total of 30 days. And they come out of our life experiences. They come out of revelation we've received through prayer, through the Word. And we just want to share this with everyone who is going through any kind of trial or trouble in your life, to let you know that you can have life on purpose.
So go to our website, keithandmisti.com, and pick up one of these books today.